That was so dramatic.
Wow.
Do it again. Do it again.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm just going to act like I'm minding my own business.
Well, good evening.
Ah. Oh, Kirk, I didn't see you there on Zoom.
Right in front of your face, live in living color, big as life and twice as ugly.
Yes, I would concur. Welcome, friends. And by friends, I mean your fiance, and maybe that's it.
Well, again, as we were talking before we went live, apparently the audience is all you, because everything that you do gets a ton of views, and I don't think any of my friends seem to care.
Well,
so I think I have Tasha, and Tasha.
Jesus, yes. Good evening, Kirk. Welcome to Fandumbs episode 5. How are you?
I am outstanding this evening.
Kirk, tonight is an episode we talked about in July that we were going to do. Do you remember that when things were so fallish? What are we going to talk about tonight?
Bit warmer than,
it was a lot warmer. We're going to talk about what?
MovieMonsters.
Yes! Yes! Let it begin! Yes! I've been so excited waiting for October, mostly because the election will be over soon, which is its own version of MovieMonsters. And we could talk about MovieMonsters. That's right. Tonight, episode 5 of Fandumbs here live on Facebook, streaming live. We'll see. Who knows who's going to join us tonight.
Who knows?
But we're going to talk. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about our top 5, right? We're going to talk about honorable mentions, which is a way to make it a top 10. We're going to also surprise each other.
Don't give away production secrets.
I know. We're also going to talk about what we call overrated. Ones that
underrated.
And underrated. So let's begin with you, Kirk. Why don't you start us
off? What about middle rated?
Yeah, we could do middle rated.
The ones no one cares about.
Well, we could call those like the creature comfort foods.
And also the ones that are top scariest one of like the one that freaks us out.
Yes. Yes. The one that freaks us out the most. Hey, do you remember as kids, Sammy Terry? Did you watch that?
No, not really. No, but I remember Sammy Terry. I just don't remember watching the movie.
Yeah, I would.
Although, again, when you talk about old monster movies, then you have to go into MST3K, which is its own whole thing. So.
And we could do an episode called "We Love You Guys." Please put us on. Sammy
I would like
Terry,
to see my ugly-headed silhouette against a movie screen.
Yeah, mine too. So Sammy Terry, one of my former students, Nick Williams. Sammy Terry was at, I don't think it was the Sammy Terry. I think it was like his son carrying on the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at Ball State for like a new student orientation. And my student, Nick Williams, got Sammy Terry to like say my name and stuff. And I was like so excited because I love Sammy Terry.
No.
So let's, Kirk, why are we going to talk about MovieMonsters, monsters in general?
Well, we're going to talk about it because it's October and it's almost Halloween. And it's like the time when all the monsters come out, especially during election years. Had to get the one joke in. Now I'm done. I'm done.
Thank you.
I'll be here all week. Tip your waiters.
We'll be here all evening. Thank you. We'll be taking the greatest hits. All right. So I have loved monsters since as young as I can remember loving monsters. I always loved scary movies. I would watch them to my parents' chagrin, and I loved going over to my grandma's house because she had Cinemax and Showtime. Or I can't remember if she had Showtime, Cinemax, or HBO, but they would show scary movies on the weekends, and I would watch them and get super freaked out. Of course, the movie Poltergeist freaked me out as a little boy. So I've always loved monsters. How about you?
Here's the funny thing is I've never been a huge horror guy, but I've always been more sci-fi. But it's also interesting because there are certain, depending on classification of the monsters, there are certain monsters that I do really, really love.
Let's talk about that because you're going to surprise some people tonight, aren't you? Let's talk about classifications. How can we go about doing this tonight?
Well, again, I think you've got, since I mentioned Godzilla, you've got like Godzilla, Kong, Mothra, Mecha Godzilla, Mecha Ultra Godzilla, Mecha Ultra 3 times, 3-headed, 4-tailed, 6-limbed Godzilla, whatever. So you got the monsters, which are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of like the bigger than life monsters.
Yeah, kind of like kaiju, what Pacific Rim sort of invested in.
Right. I mean, things that are like so massive and huge that, you know, they're not normal.
Yeah.
Then I think you've got your basic animal classifications, which would be any, you know, your snakes, your spiders, your
Cujo.
yeah,
Cujo, you got to have your dogs.
Yeah, dogs, cats, you know.
Rats. Remember the movie about the rats that take over? And
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Creature features, and then what? And then we might call the supernaturals.
Yeah.
And then I think there's even monsters beyond the supernatural where they're not necessarily related to sort of aliens. I guess you could, you know, aliens or otherworldly monsters.
Yes.
And then there's another one that I thought was really interesting where you were talking more about people.
Yes. And well, again, it goes into the whole thing of, you know, there's kind of the Facebook meme that runs around that, you know, when we were kids, we all thought the monsters were ugly and horrible and oozy and all this, but we come to find out that people are the scariest monsters of all.
Yes, they are.
So I think there's a small category that I don't know that I would put that many people. I mean, it's like a handful of people that I believe rise to the level of they go beyond villain and into monster kind of category because of just either the lore behind it or things that they do or how they behave.
And I like the idea of monsters are an unstoppable force. That could be horror, where you're not going to make it out. That could be thriller, where the good guy might make it out. The good person might make it out.
Oh, right. I thought you were talking about, you know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then I would think monsters sometimes as just like if we talk about Star Wars or Star Trek, you'll get into a sci-fi world where monsters are just part of the world building. They're sort of
right.
They sort of make the fantasy. I'm thinking of things like a Harry Potter or a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or Lord of the Rings, or things like that, where they sometimes can be characters, and then sometimes, like in Lord of the Rings, you can have a Balrog, which isn't really a character per se, as a force of nature.
Or Smaug.
Yeah, or even, yeah. So let's get into it. I want to get into it. Let's do our top 5, and let's do them from 5 to 1. And before we do our number 1, we'll talk about our honorable mentions. So why don't you go first? You want to go first? We've got props tonight. So yeah, I'm in my office. This is where I don't get any work done. And you are in your I'm in the lair because you and Tosh both share it. So I guess it's your.
Yes, but it's my lair.
Yeah,
my lair.
Your
so number 1, Predator.
Oh, are we going top 1?
Oh wait, 5. Whatever. Yeah, the first one out of the first one on the list that I'm talking about is Predator.
Yes.
So again, I've always loved Predator. Again, I don't know if it's Arnold or I just love the whole thing that, you know, just everything about Predators I think is cool. The fact that they're, you know, that they adapt to, you know, they're the kind of the ultimate hunters, so everything is prey to them, which is again kind of a different, you know, it's kind of a play on, you know, how, you know, man versus world kind of thing. But, you know, it's kind of one of those where, you know, man being the apex predator, then we come up with something that can hunt man and do it efficiently. It can terrify people because you're like, ooh, it's not good. So.
And it is nice that the predator, if it bleeds, we can kill it. I think it is.
It also spawned a lot of Arnold's lines.
It did, yeah. It put that
because get to the chopper.
Got to the chopper. All right, my number 5 is one that we both love. This was the best toy I could come up with, but I just love dragons in general. I don't know if Toothless is my favorite, but he's the dragon I have, and it's actually my son's. I think I took it from him. But I love dragons. I love Smaug. I
Yeah.
really love the Lord of the Rings use of dragons, or more Hobbit.
Yes.
Game of Thrones. I love
Game
their
of Thrones
dragons. I
dragons.
just Dragonheart. I love the movie Dragonheart. I'm a
Oh,
sucker for that
Dragonheart.
movie.
Come on.
Such an
You got to
underrated
talk about
movie.
Dragonheart.
But I love dragons. I just think dragons are just the coolest monsters, and they're cross cultural too. So when I went to China, they really love dragons too. So
Right.
I just love that so many cultures love dragons. So that's my number 5. What's your number 4? You love
My
dragons
number
too,
4.
by the way.
What?
You love dragons too, by the way.
Oh, I love dragons.
Yeah.
I absolutely love dragons. I mean, I slay internet dragons as a hobby. It's what I do. So my number 4 is also a prop. Here we go. It's the T-Rex from Jurassic Park / Jurassic World. Now, the first time that we encountered this particular movie monster, we were at the Claremont Drive-In. We had parked between 2 posts, so we had taken 1 speaker each, and we had them hanging on both windows. So we created our own surround sound. And when the T-Rex howled, it shook the car.
I love that choice you made. I told you this earlier. I debated that. I love a T-Rex. What a great movie monster.
And what's interesting is, again, and this is not something that's necessarily said in the films specifically, but the Jurassic World, the Jurassic Park T-Rex is the same one that's in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
It's actually the same T-Rex.
Yeah, I love, boy, what a great movie monster. What a great monster.
Dinosaurs in general tend to be.
Oh my gosh,
really
yes.
good.
People can
the tension that the raptor, especially in the first Jurassic Park, the tension with the raptors was, again, Spielberg at its finest.
What a great movie. What a great monster. All right, my number 4, this is the only toy of it I have, is this creature right here.
See, you say that, and yet I have a slightly smaller one now that I think about it, because I have this one. Only he smiles. He's a happy one. I'm going to suck your face.
When students see this, they always ask me, I can't remember what animal it is, but they're always like, what's that crab scorpion doing in there? And I'm like, I will murder you. This is not, I don't love all the Alien franchise. I just love the first one. I love the second one. I didn't like the third one. I didn't like the fourth one. I don't like when they put it with the Predator series, but I do love the Alien Predator comic book series.
Yes.
That's fantastic. But, and I don't love any of the Prometheus stuff where Ridley Scott overthought it. But I love what Ridley Scott did with the first Alien, and I love the second Aliens movie as a sort of like metaphor of Vietnam, where this force that's clearly well armed and trained but not having a strong purpose goes up against a species that's quite united.
Right.
And Sigourney Weaver is just amazing. So I love Aliens. My number 4. Which version do you like of the Alien characters?
Honestly, never been a huge fan of Aliens. Again, it's kind of like that whole thing of, it was always, you had Predator people and you had Aliens people. I was always a Predator person. So, and I was never a huge fan of horror per se, which is kind of what
you do like the idea of the aliens hunting, or the Predators hunting aliens.
Yes. Now, Aliens versus
you like them as a character in the Predator universe.
Yes, I kind of like the fact that they are kind of the ultimate prey,
right?
And
More than us,
they can do. Yes, because the things they can do with their adaptations. So you got to be careful, because it was kind of weird, but I like the storyline from the AVP movie where you had a xenomorph coming out of a predator, so it took some of that stuff, and you're like, oh no, because that's bad. That's crossing the streams bad.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into the crossing the streams. Who's your number 3?
Number 3 is Hannibal Lecter.
Okay, this is where you got to unpack how the Hannibal is a monster.
Well, it's interesting because, again, Hannibal is that monster because, again, he's not necessarily the focal point a lot of times, but again, he's highly intelligent. The cannibalism thing, but again, it's it's his ability to kind of influence people and manipulate people that makes him, I think, kind of a great movie monster, especially in Silence of the Lambs. Because it's funny because there's a guy that I used to work with that's like, well, Hannibal is the bad guy of the movie. And I'm like, no, that's still Buffalo Bill. But Hannibal, he kind of rises above that basic villain because he, again, operates at a different level. And again, I guess maybe it's the mental component to it. But again, he, to me, is one of the ones that has kind of risen from a level of, oh, well, I'm just a bad guy to now I'm kind of almost a movie monster, like Kaiser Soze, which is, again, my favorite movie, Usual Suspects. But again, you don't see him through the whole movie. He's just talked about. So again, when you have a mythos that's built around the fact that you can talk about a character through an entire movie, never see him, and yet he's still known to this day, says a lot.
Yeah. I like that choice because that movie is terrifying. If you sit and watch it, let's say you've never seen it before, it is disturbing. And he is a monster. I think he's a monster because in the end, the spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it by now, but the way he gets away is monstrous.
Yes. And also,
and the way it ends, that cliff note that it ends on, of, I'm having an old friend for dinner,
yes.
Just, he's a monster. Definitely. He's definitely a monster.
And also, again, the TV show, I watched bits and pieces of it with Tasha, and the guy that they had, Miles Madsen, or whatever his name is.
Mads Martin or whatever.
Yes, he's amazing.
He built the Death Star.
Yeah, he played Hannibal so well because it was, it's all the manipulation. Yeah. And, it's kind of the spider and the web kind of thing, and that's what makes him, I think, on a different level than the normal villains.
I like it. He's a monster. All right, my number 3 is actually, believe it or not, I do love this character more than the alien. Mine also is the Predator. But when I say that, here's what I have to say. Here would be my order of movies. I would watch Predator first, then I would reach for Aliens, then I would reach for Alien, and then I would watch the Predators movie with Adrian Brody that I know you don't like Adrian Brody. So I like Aliens a lot, but I like the Predator movie better than any Alien movie. So I love the Predator.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I think the newer one was actually really, I really liked it.
See, I didn't.
I thought it kind of, again, it was kind of a revisit of the original kind of concepts. And, just the fact that, again, I thought the cast was good. And I thought they played it pretty well.
It was cast well, yeah. It had.
And I kind of like the fact that it moved the mythology forward, much like Predators did.
Yeah.
Because Predators kind of started to tie in a lot of stuff, but but I think the one thing that was kind of cool was the fact that they said, okay, so we're going to have the big hunter predator and the dogs, because again, they're also advancing as they go.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, because it's not a stagnant thing. That's what
I like the Predators movie. Adrian Brody, I thought they could have done without him. I just like the Predators movie because I loved the idea of like the Yakuza when he fights the Predator, and the Russian with his minigun and he blows him up. And then I can't remember the actor's name, but he was a prisoner and he pulls out
Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
Walton Goggins, he is one of my favorite actors.
I just really love. Oh, and I have Dutch up there. You can't see it, Facebook friends, but I do have Dutch up there. So, okay, number 2. Let's do your number 2, and we'll do my number 2.
You did I went with. Oh yeah, you went. Oh, Jaws.
Yes, we both have the same number 2, so we might as well just say it, right?
There you go. Let's do it,
man. I
would do even Jaws / Meg. I really enjoyed Meg.
Yeah, I'm usually disappointed with every shark movie, and it's my favorite. I almost said human monster. It's my favorite monster that I could probably meet. Meg was fine. I watch shark movies. I'll watch Sharknado. Jaws is chilling though. When you watch Jaws, it's deeply personal. It's a deeply personal movie, and it's quite terrifying.
Yeah. And the fact that, again, the whole, and even if it's not accurate, just when when Quint talks about being on the Indianapolis, he does it so well. It just sucks you in, and it's amazing piece of film. It really is, because again, it's the cultural impact right when it came out, because people started hunting sharks, people wouldn't go into the water, and even that is even felt today, because again, I love sharks. I'm a huge shark guy anyway, and it's hurt shark conservation, because people still to this day are scared of Jaws 40 years later.
Yeah.
That's how good, again, Spielberg's on this list twice because he's that good.
Yeah. I think, Kirk, that in some ways, I think Jaws is the greatest monster contribution that America has made to the sort of pantheon of creatures and monsters that are terrifying. I think Jaws is our greatest. Like I would say,
I think so, yes.
I would say, every culture seems to have a kind of a unique one. And I think for America, well, maybe. I mean, there's another one we could put on here that maybe is America's greatest, but Jaws is definitely up there. Okay.
I mean, just the visceral reaction that you get from Jaws.
Oh my gosh.
And again, another one where you don't see the monster till over halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
The tension building was amazing.
I've been so influenced by sharks that a few years ago when I had some Crayola model magic, I made this and I named it Quint. So
nice.
This is the little sculpture in my office that I made out of Crayola model magic. And this was before Pops came out, so I had to make my own toys. Of course, now I just have one of each. But sharks are just so. But see, sharks and T-Rexes are things that have existed and exist on our planet, and they're awesome. Okay, before we get into our number ones, you want to go through our honorable mentions, because I think these are really fun. Let's do. These are ones for our audience of a couple people who are watching. These are ones. Yeah, there's a few people watching. My friend Morgan Midkiff said the Invisible Man. He's straight up evil. He is pretty scary. But if you throw paint on him, you could see him.
But again, why do we have to talk about John Cena?
I don't know.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Let's do honorable mentions, because here's one. These are 4 honorable mentions that we agreed we shared. So
yes,
you want to do our number one? You get your toy and I'll get my toys.
Oh, okay. All right.
I forgot to tell you, I've got toys. Kirk, when there's something strange,
this could go horribly wrong when you say that. Okay.
I know. When there's something strange, Kirk, in your neighborhood, who will you call?
Oh, well, yeah.
Kirk.
I bring the monsters.
Ah! He slimed me. Stance, he slimed me.
Yep. Oh, man. I need that one.
Which one? This one?
Gotta go. Again, this back here is my Ghostbusters diorama that I have built of Funko Pops.
I love it. Boy, that movie's so great. I actually do love the second.
Well, I have the banquet hall scene with Slimer. I have the building, I've got the car, and I got Pete, but I need to get the other 3 in Funko Pop form because I don't have those. And then I see, I have the burned Marshmallow Man, and then Tasha had the unburned Marshmallow Man.
Nice.
So
I like Gozer. I like the Demon.
Gozer the Gazarian is awesome. Just again, a lot of it is Rick Moranis, because Rick Moranis describing Gozer. And the Gozer took on the form of a giant Torg. And many souls were claimed that day, let me tell you.
Hey, who brought the dog? Who brought the dog?
Yeah. Who brought the dog?
All right, I don't think I have a toy of this one. This is literally the only one I don't have a toy of. Our number 2 honorable mention is Kong. We love Kong. Kong is really cool. I really did like the Peter Jackson version.
I did too.
I'm a sucker for the cheesy, chintzy Jessica Lange, Stan Winston in a suit version. And I do like the old black and white version. I think Kong's kind of cool. I think Kong is.
Yeah, I honestly, I absolutely love Kong Skull Island.
That is a great movie. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great movie. Yeah. I love Kong. So shout out to you, Kong. Okay, our number 3 is a shared one. So I think you've got one and I've got one.
Yep.
Mine I use as my window shade puller, which is ironic because at night you would never want to see this, but man, I love these guys.
Don't feed us after midnight.
Well, shout out to the great Howie Mandel, who voiced.
Yep.
I love that movie. I like the. Did you like the second one? I thought the second one was okay. I thought
The
it tried
second
too
one was
hard.
okay, but again, it introduced. Well, you had Flasher, Greta,
Yeah.
Brain. It had the different cast of characters, which I thought was really fun. Just from a fun aspect.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot. And what's ridiculous is how you're not supposed to feed them after midnight, but when do you feed them? Because anytime after midnight's after midnight.
Right. Exactly.
And if they pee, would they multiply? Like there was all kinds of rules that are just such garbage.
Right.
I didn't put this down, Kirk, but my alternate version of Gremlins is, and a lot of people act like they've never seen this movie. I love the movie Critters. It's so ridiculous.
Oh, there you go.
The movie Critters is the poor man's version. Critters is to Gremlins what GoBots is to Transformers.
Hey. I love my GoBots.
I know, but I'm just saying, like most people reach for, Optimus Prime and Starscream before they reach for,
Okay. All right.
GoBots. All right, let's get to our number 4 because we got to get to our top. So let's do our number 4 shared one. I don't have a toy of this, but I do have a good representation of it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I love, so this was the best version I have of it, but Victor Frankenstein's monster. So this one, of course, is Edward Scissorhands, who's basically Victor Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
But I love the monster. I love Frankenstein's monster.
Because it can be interpreted in so many different ways that it is interesting.
Well, when she wrote it, she called it a modern Prometheus, right?
Right. I love the Penny Dreadful version of Frankenstein because he's highly intelligent and well-spoken. I love that kind of idea because it's not really been explored before. It's like, you kind of have it's always been the monster version, not so much, okay, what if it was, again, go in a different direction with it.
Yeah.
Because again, there was the movie that, there's like I, Frankenstein, where he was, there, but again, it was a different take on it rather than, fire bad from the great Phil Hartman, but
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. You know what? I did. Penny Dreadful is a great movie if you love horror. And if you just like thoughtful horror. I like the Mel Brooks Young Frankenstein. That is one of my top 5 comedies of all time. It's right up there with Blazing Saddles and Holy Grail. My late brother-in-law was a big Frankenstein nut. So there's, probably a familial relationship.
Igor.
It's pronounced Igor. Yeah, my grandfather used to work for your grandfather. Of course, rates have gone up, Kirk. All right, before we get into our top reveal, we need to save this. We need to do like they do on American Idol, where they don't tell you who wins, even though you don't really care. Should we talk our overrated, underrated, and then close the show with our top one, our top monster?
I think so.
Okay, we promised each other we'd surprise each other with one overrated and surprise each other with one underrated. So one of my overrateds is most vampires, and I had to say most.
Vampire.
I had to say most because if you're a Salem's Lot vampire, you're up there.
Okay.
If you're in Blade, I'm cool with you. And if you are a Lost Boy vampire, to me, those are the 3 that get a pass, and they're awesome. But all the others, even Bram Stoker's, I remember laughing at that movie and just people getting up and just being like, this is so stupid. But I don't know. Just vampires are like, just usually now they're just sexy people who want to like suck your blood and they're beautiful. And I just like them to be nasty, creepy, like, Salem's Lot and like Lost Boys. So I just think they're overrated.
If you can't handle emo vampires, that's on you.
It is, Kurt. Yeah. All right, what's one of your overrateds?
Okay, I will go slay. I will go slay the other. I will go slay the other sacred cow, which is zombies. It is so freaking overrated. It's been overdone. I'm let them die for a while, then you can bring them back. When zombies are sprinting, intelligent, whatever, no, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, my favorite zombies of all time are still the original Resident Evil game. When you're shambling, you got to run away from them, you've got no ammo. That is a zombie. So,
yeah. You know the zombie that was the Romero version, where the hero is a black man only to be killed by the white police, who just shoot him without even asking if he's a zombie. How funny! What a social commentary. Not funny, but like, just the playing with that at the time period. But zombies, yeah, I like the first few seasons of Walking Dead, and then the comics did the same thing. That just was like, this is boring now. So I'm with you.
It's a limited. That's the thing. Is it's a limited. If you've got a good story, it can work. But when you try to just on and on and on and on and on, it loses its effectiveness because again, we're just killing zombies.
You know what's a better version of zombies is when it's in a Mad Max dystopia and the zombies they're not zombies, but they're like willing, just zealots who follow like some megalomaniac, but they're zombie-like. I think they're more interesting because usually they're following something versus just zombies just rambling. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, there was a show, Z Nation, which I really have to say I enjoyed just for the humor of it. More so than because the zombies were there as kind of as props, but a lot of the stuff that was going on in between that was kind of the humor in it. So it has its bright spots, but I think overall it's kind of like, okay, we've done everything we can do with it. We're just doing it to try to make money because everybody freaks out about zombies. And it's like, all right, let's pick something else. And,
but
let's bring back Wolfman. Let's bring back the lycanthropes. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Rather than
zombies,
just
zombies are very American because the horror of becoming part of the collective and losing your individuality to the autonomy of the Borg, because the Borg is a techno zombie.
Yes.
So yeah, okay, we could talk about overrated forever. I'm gonna do my number one, and it's okay. I'll probably hurt feelings on this, but I've never been impressed with Jason.
Oh, see, you got my. Well, it's not one I was going to go with.
Probably going to hurt Tasha.
I will agree with you on that one.
I know that's going to hurt you. Yeah, I know your fiance probably loves him. I like Mike Myers much better than I do Jason. I like Freddy Krueger better. Freddy Krueger's got a better backstory. Just Jason's he's just boring. So that's it. I don't have anything more to say about him. I think it sucks. So.
It's funny. You just mentioned mine, which is Freddy. Because I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. You show up in my dream. You're like, oh, I'm big, bad, and scary. I'm like, okay. Okay. You got a claw. Okay. I'm Wolverine. Let's dance. Or even better, I'm Thanos. Done.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's just lack of imagination.
I think Freddy Krueger would be instantly anxious in my dreams if
I mean, especially your dreams because they're just weird and apparently I laugh at old ladies being hurt, but whatever.
He'd leave my dream and be like, whoo, man, you got some stuff you got to work out, man.
Okay, that guy, no, I'm out.
All right. Okay, so we've never been huge into like the slasher things, and I do like I get when people like them. I just was never big into them, but okay, underrated. So these are things that we wish people maybe on a larger scale appreciated as much as we do, or something where we're like, I really love these. It's more of a niche interest. So one of mine I shared with you earlier is I love the show The Munsters because it takes all the sort of classic B movie and sort of horror films and turns them into this weird domesticated,
Yep.
they think their beautiful niece is unusual and everyone thinks, and I debated Addams Family or Munsters, but man, I love Grandpa Munster, and I love how there's, something under the trap.
Well, and the cool thing with the Monsters is it was the monster show, but it always had the moral at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Or the moral for the show that week, which is always kind of cool.
And I love the Munsters. What's one of your underrateds?
Okay, so the one that I shared with you, which will probably start an argument with people online, so get their flamethrowers ready. I'm going to go Blair Witch. The original Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, it's scary.
Because psychologically, again, you never see the monster, and it's all, and again, because the cool thing, again, it's like the psychological thriller. The monster is always worse when you can't see it, because your mind makes up what it is. So it always brings up that what scares you the most.
I like that choice, Kirk, because so many of the ones we're talking about, as little boys, these are very like boy-centric like stories. That I can't remember the movie that was just made recently, the Witch movie, that's got that really talented girl who was in the Unbreakable series. And you know which movie I'm talking about? And there's like a goat. The goat turns out to be like Satan or something, and it's about witches.
No, I don't think
I think it's called The Witch.
Right.
But
could be.
Witches are, witches have been made into monsters more than they are monsters. If you look at the way that American religious society treated them, just having a brain as a woman meant you were a witch. And
right.
Like you said at the beginning.
And again, if you look at the Salem witch trials, if you go back and you look at it, most of that, again, much like Blair Witch, was psychological in, the fear of the unknown is what ultimately drove the Salem witch trials.
And really, in the narrative, the monsters in that narrative are the religious leaders, not these women. But I think it is interesting if you ask these questions about women who have some supernatural agency. So witches, I think, are a great honorable. I like that. I like an underrated one. Okay, mine.
This one should surprise me.
My other one that I really love, but I've never seen a ton of great versions of it, is A Creature of the Black Lagoon, which
nice.
Shape of Water was a weird version of it, frankly. We don't have to talk about that one. I do like most of Guillermo del Toro's stuff. I like Pan's Labyrinth better. But the creature, because I used to fish with my dad a lot, and I like to fish, and I'm always anxious when I get around lake water because you can't see stuff. So I just really have always liked that kind of fish monsters.
So even like Swamp Thing, would you?
Oh gosh, I love Swamp Thing. Yeah. Swamp Thing is so cool, man. So that's my honorable mentions. Now, before we finish with our top one, which I said we were going to do, so.
Well, I still haven't done my other underrated yet either.
Yes, you need to do your underrated.
Leprechaun.
Oh my gosh, get out of here.
It's so corny. It's so stupid. But I had to do it.
If you had said Troll, the first Troll movie, I would have tracked you.
The Blood of the Christian Man. Okay, if not that, would you accept Tremors and Graboids?
Yes, I love Tremors. Leprechaun, Kirk, why is it underrated?
Because it's so bad. It's so corny. It's so stupid.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I got it. Yes.
You are a freak. Okay.
I am indeed.
You're always after me, Lucky Charms. All right. Okay, so we're getting some comments from some friends. So if you're joining us, all two of you, Tasha says, Aubrey too.
Oh yes, she loves
now,
Aubrey
I don't
too.
like that they didn't let Frank Oz finish it the way the musical finishes, which is he takes over the planet. But have you seen the scene where they filmed it? They actually filmed.
Oh no, I haven't. That's
you
cool.
could watch clips of them. They filmed it. They filmed Aubrey 2 taking over the world, and I like that version better So I like the movie up to the final minutes because I love that he eats Aubrey in the musical. He eats her, Seymour feeds, and then Seymour goes in. But that's a great monster too. That is a great monster.
Okay, so here's the question. Before we get to our number one that we love, what is the one monster that freaks you out even to this day? What is like the one? What is your nightmare fuel?
Okay, I don't know if it's a monster per se because it wasn't like one individual, but the movie Poltergeist still freaks me out, and here's why. So that little boy gets attacked by his doll. He goes under the bed and the doll attacks him. So when I was 12 years old, my Nana, who I love, bought me a My Buddy doll, which I don't know why she bought me that at 12 years old because it said on the box ages 5 to 10. And it was, if you remember those My Buddy dolls, they were 3 foot
Oh, I do.
of demon. And what are you supposed to do at 12 years old with this gift? Throw it away like a jerk? So I kept it in my room, and I'm not going to lie, Kirk. It would be at the end of be against the wall, and there'd be nights I'd get up and like literally look at it. Like, that thing better not move or I will like lose my mind. And so for years, that television, because we had one of those big TVs too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anytime I'd see that static or I'd see that doll, I would think of Poltergeist. And that movie just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So in that case, you should definitely watch Haunting of Hill House.
I have heard a lot of people tell me I would love that movie. Yeah, a lot of people.
I actually watched, and again, my thing with even, I mean, I guess the haunting, the ghost stuff I do enjoy, but yeah, that was actually quite good.
I've heard a lot of people say it's great. Yeah. What's yours? What gives you the heat?
Pinhead.
What's that?
Pinhead.
Oh, Pandora's Box, man.
Man, that dude is just, I mean, I watched, I think like maybe the third one, and it just, when he transformed people and that whole thing, it just weirded me out. I'm like, okay, no, that's the one. Nope, not doing it. So that's my, yeah.
Pinhead is creepy. How funny we have ones that are in the supernatural evil kind of world.
Right.
Okay, well, we didn't talk about Star Wars, but because that was our first episode. If you remember, Star Trek and Star Wars, for none of you that watched our show.
All none of you.
All none of you. We got 2 people watching us right now. Star Wars. I've got some of my favorite Star Wars monsters. I love the trash compactor monster.
Yep.
I love the Rancor. What are some of your Star Wars monsters you love?
Oh man, just went out of my head. The snow beast.
The Wampa?
From Empire. Yes, the Wampa.
Yeah, I've got my Wampa back there.
Yes, love Wampas. And again, I just think like a lot of the bar scenes and things like that, where they had to just come up with different aliens and stuff like that. I always thought that was so creative and so cool that I was like, you know what, that I like. So
I didn't feel like the prequels did as well with monsters because there was always a creature feature in every Star Wars, and the sequels did not do well with the monsters. I was greatly disappointed that they had all that creativity and could come up with a great creature feature.
They came up with a crappy casino scene, though. Come on, it was garbage, but we liked it.
I'm gonna cry. All right, listen, we're almost out of time, so without further ado, we need to get on to our number one. Mutual. Our number one is shared. And that is
because he is the king. He is the king. It's in his name. He is the king of monsters.
That's right. You've got the modern one. Hold that up there with pride. I don't remember what version.
He's 30. This guy is 30 inches nose to tail.
This is an old one I've had that I think clamps on. It's got some kind of spring here. So it's like my praying Godzilla.
There you go. It's your Godzilla. It's your Buddha Godzilla.
This is a cheap Godzilla. So I don't even know where it came. I think it came from now my prized Godzilla, the one I love, is one that I've had for a long time. It's the Shogun Godzilla.
There you go.
Yeah. Shoot. And because we know this is a skill set Godzilla needs. Apparently, Godzilla needs to shoot his fist at people.
Well, yeah.
This toy is older than my wife.
Well, see, he had the fish shooting. He had that era, but then he also had the kung fu era. And he was the kung fu master. So.
Boy, I love Godzilla. What a great monster.
So again, we talk about the old Japanese ones, but again, Godzilla 85. That was really the one for me. I was like, you know what? That is awesome.
He's a great, what's great is that, I think what makes him relevant is the way the Japanese used him as a metaphor for their collective trauma. And so, we were talking about monsters as humans, and Godzilla really is a human monster because he's man-made, right? He is the ultimate, sharks have been here before us, and, they'll probably outlast us if we don't take them all out. And predators are fiction. But Godzilla is like the metaphor, no mouse would build a mousetrap, but humans made a nuclear bomb, right?
Right.
And then he gets to become sort of the.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think your version? Hold your version up, because your version he predates the nuclear bomb, and they treat him as sort of an ancient artifact, sort of a titan.
Yes,
In this version, he's more he's more modern. So,
right.
Which one do
I
you
like
like?
I like the old. I mean, again, I kind of like the original origin of him. From the whole bombs dropping, I thought was always really cool. But I think for a more of a modern time, because again, it's been long enough now that people don't understand everything that went into that.
Yeah.
I like the Monarch storyline where you've got all these different monsters and things that are throughout the planet. I love that, and the fact that we're going to tie it together and again have Godzilla versus Kong, which we know they're going to fight once, and then they're going to fight another creature, which I guarantee is going to happen. Is just going to be cool. So it never comes out because 2020 never ends.
He's going to take on COVID.
Right.
He'll lose.
Godzilla's taken out by COVID.
He'll lose because he's got some lung issues. He's got some lung issues. If this were Purell, he'd have a better shot.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a great man. I used to draw T-Rexes and sharks and Godzilla were the things as a little boy I used to draw all the time. Man, movie monsters are just so much fun, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They tap into the best of our human imagination. I mean, we didn't even get into like television. We didn't get into the great monsters of, myth. Like we didn't talk about things like Sleepy Hollow or.
Oh yeah.
We didn't get into werewolves and mummies and stuff. But man, if you love monsters as much as we do, enjoy it. And this is the season for monsters, really. So.
Yes. And make sure you go watch Leprechaun.
I hate you. So, what's on the docket? How are we on Fandumbs? Let's think of the future before we sign off here in 2 minutes. So what do we got to do?
I don't know. What was your other idea for this month? I can't remember.
Well, I thought we were going to talk about monsters again, but maybe we come back. Well, maybe people will have some ideas. There's 3 people watching, so maybe they have ideas.
And we've always got to go. Remember, if you like this, like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe here at Facebook. We got to do a couple more episodes before the new year. We gotta have a Christmas episode, right? We have to have a Christmas episode. So we'll do a Christmas episode.
Do not force me to talk about the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yes.
We should.
A lot of people don't understand that.
Steven?
Look, there's nothing like watching Princess Leia sing the Chewbacca Hanukkah song.
Okay, if you make me watch that, then we're doing a viewing of Leprechaun.
Fine, because the Christmas special is at least got Han Solo. So,
oh, man,
what are you going to go with? You're selling Jennifer Aniston? I mean, please. Hey, we didn't talk about this guy. I know Tasha loves him, and
Yes,
I think he's great. I do like the first movie, and I didn't like the second one, but I do love Pennywise in general. So I think my son got me. This is one of those Chinese bootleg Legos. I think
right. But again, Stephen King also incredible at doing memorable horror.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
My
he
favorite
created,
adaptation of his is The Mist, when they did The Mist, when Frank Darabont did The
but
Mist.
again, you get, because you've got the cars, dogs, jilted high school girls, uh,
Pet Cemeteries.
pet cemeteries.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of them.
The Shining. You got
And then we
hotels.
even thought, and then you go into like, we could do a whole other episode just on book monsters too. So
Yeah, we could. Well, Kirk, I guess that's all the time we got. That's probably about as much as we have to say, isn't it? So.
All right, I think we've somewhat exhausted this topic for now.
We have. Now I'm gonna put up all these toys, which I'm not gonna do that. So.
And we reserve the right to talk about it again too, because it's our show.
Yeah, it's our show.
Do whatever we want.
It's our show. So. All right, dude. We will talk again. So bye, everyone on Facebook.